Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today we're going to discuss Australia's reaction to the Chinese Solomon Islands pact or treaty, and we'll discuss what their bosses, which is the United States, will request or require from or of Australia. As you remember, China and Solomon Islands, they signed a pact, a treaty that has a certain provisions that allow Chinese military ships to replenish or something in Solomon Islands and help Solomon Islands with the security of the country, with some police and some economic things, which between two countries, independent countries, that's fine. As you know, or maybe you don't, Australia got all upset and says it's and United States saying that this is going to disturb the balance, the security balance in the region, and the status quo that is imposed by United States. And what's not imposed by United States, it's disturbing the status quo because they know best. Yeah, and then this is what it is. And then the Australian Prime Minister Morrison, I think it's not Jim Morrison, another Morrison, said that that's a red line if China will have military bases in Solomon Islands. Like you can do something about it. What are you going to do about it? Invade? And then we have the Prime Minister of Solomon Islands saying that they were threatened with invasion by certain actors in the area. Now remember, Solomon Islands is not, like next to Australia. It's North Australia, about 1,500 miles or something, or something like that. And the area, it's not their area. But if they talk about their security concerns, then Russia's security concerns with NATO being in Ukraine should also be considered. I would say if you have a problem with another country making a deal with another country at 1,500 miles from your territory, you have a problem with the security, then what about Russia with Ukraine? Should not have any concerns, right? Security concerns, because NATO is going to be right there. So much hypocrisy, but it's a status quo that's disturbed. So let's see what the Australians did and say. And this is an article from Associated Press from Sunday, May 8, 2022, by Rad McGurk or Gurik. This is the title. Australian leader, with it, it is the Prime Minister Scott Morrison, Jim Morrison, silent on reaction to feared Chinese base. So they're afraid that China is going to have a military base, and he's silent. Now, like in any democratic system and free nation, you have a guy who wants this and the other guy who wants the other one. The problem is what the Australians want. They want a confrontation with China regarding that. Based on what? What claims does Australia have regarding that treaty between two sovereign countries? And one that is about 1,500 miles away from its borders. Put it that way. What? And if you have, then let's say China should have a problem with New Zealand being so close to Australia, and there's a security for them, which is what, about 5,000 miles or whatever from them. I'm just, all right, so let's see. Canberra, Australia. Australia's Prime Minister on Sunday refused to say how his government might respond if China attempted to establish a military base less than 2,000 kilometers, which is 1,200 miles, off the Australian coast on the Solomon Islands. You're going to have the opposition party who's going to, take advantage. If you don't say that you're going to do something, then we're going to take some votes here, because that's how it's in the mass democracy. It's a popularity contest, regardless if it's good or bad for the people. I have a little bit of charisma. I tell you this, I promise you this, I get elected. When I get elected, bye-bye, see you in 4 years. And up in those 4 years, I do what I want. Obviously, you have the Supreme Court who's going to see if it's constitutional or something. Yeah. All right, so it says here that Prime Minister Scott Morrison has said that the Chinese naval base on the impoverished South Pacific island nation would be a, quoting, red line for both Australia and United States. Why not only for you, Australia? Why don't you show a little bit of, you know what I mean, and say, you know what, China, I'm going to smack you with it. No, he needs his boss. Are you with me, United States? Are you with me, United States? Yeah. Okay, now that's a red line, China, okay? Was I good? Was I good? Yeah, I was good. That's how it works. God damn it. So anyway, the United States, his language, which was reminiscent to President Barack Obama's declaration of in 2012 that the use of chemical weapons by Syrian forces would be crossing a red line requiring American military intervention. No, 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 no. Why do you go to Obama in 2012? Go to Putin. 3 months ago, he said it's a red line if you guys continue to push forward to have NATO in Ukraine, and it's a red line, and that would require a military action. That's not right. But Obama's was right, and seems like they tried to make Jim Morrison, Scotty Moore, yeah, do the same thing. You see how they put pressure now on this guy? You're gonna have a war over there, my fellow Australians? I heard that you can't use mate anymore. That's what I read in an article. Is that true? You can use mate? No, because some people don't identify with it's homophobic. So Morrison was questioned by a journalist during an election campaign debate about a recent security pact between China and the Solomon Islands. Asked what he meant by red line, he replied, it means that was something that Australia believes would be completely against our national interest. Okay, but it's in the interest of the other sovereign country's interest. So are you going to bomb them? Ask your boss first. Call, not Biden. Biden is someone, I don't know who you call over there, but anyway, who's going to answer? And Kamala, don't talk with Kamala. She's on her knees doing her job. Man, these are our representatives in a democracy. I recommend that movie, Idiocracy. Please watch it. We're there. So anyway, and then Morrison declined to say whether Australia would attempt to blockade any attempts to build a Chinese base. And this I'm quoting. I think it would be very unwise for any government to speculate around these issues. Yes, what is necessary in the international environment such as this is to be very clear about what the various partners' positions are. That is United States' position and certainly our position. And I believe it is a broader position of the Pacific Islanders family. They're family, man. You guys are a family over there. As long as you do what the boss says you do. And Japan is in the same family. And Taiwan over there is in the same family. And Malaysia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, all those guys, and Tahiti, all of them are in the community over there. All of a sudden, the Chinese and the Solomon Islanders are just disrupting the love and happiness in the Pacific. Man, it's unbelievable. It's like a comedy. They don't have to make movies. They just have to read articles. They don't have to make movies with comedies. The Hollywood, they're bad anyway. On the threat of invasion, Morrison said last week, none of that's true. Okay, mate, if you say so. And then we have opposition leader Anthony Albanese, from Albanese, who will become prime minister if his center-left, semi-communist, that's what it is, Labour Party, and the Workers' Party, Socialist Worker defeats the ruling Conservative coalition in May 21st elections. Accused Morrison of a massive foreign policy failure in allowing the China-Solomons deal to be sealed. Hey, communists, I thought you were better than this capitalist. I thought the capitalists are the warmongering. Now what? It's a failure? Yeah, because he has to say that. He has to say, tries the polls of opinions and see what the people say, and then he says, and then another poll and see how did they respond. Okay, I should change it a little bit this way and tweak it. That's how they do it. Mass democracy. Yeah. So Albanese wants to be prime minister, and he wants to be a bellicose prime minister, but nevertheless, who's coming, Albanese or Jim Morrison, the same thing. The masters are the same, so it doesn't really matter. So Australia, are you ready? Are you gonna do what Russia did with Ukraine? Interest, naturally, security interest, and you have the same master. Do you want? I mean, well, just let me know. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See ya.